One of the major changes we would see in the Charlotte area if voters approve this 1 cent sales tax is an overhaul of how buses operate. So let's talk about it. My name is Charles, and this is Charlotte Costs. As a quick refresher, voters in the Charlotte area are going to be voting on whether or not to raise the sales tax in the county to 8.25% from 7.25%. That would raise about $19 billion with a B over the next 30 years. And about $4 billion of that would go to buses in something called microtransit. Microtransit is basically Uber run by the county, but it's only limited to specific regions. So a bunch of little areas throughout Mecklenburg County will now have microtransit available. That means you can pay a flat $1.25 to get anywhere within the region, whether it's the grocery store or a bus stop. You can see the microtransit options on this map here. We're also talking about something called the Better Bus Plan, which would do a number of things, but one of the most important is it would take the number of buses that are arriving every 15 minutes, which is currently only one route out of the 70 in the county, and increase that to 15, the 15 busiest routes. And the remaining bus routes would show up at least once every half hour, so a dramatic increase there. We'd also be hiring a lot of new bus drivers and buying 89 new buses to replace some and add to the current fleet of 397 buses. To increase frequency and reliability of buses, it also invests in something it's calling transit priority, which basically allows buses to skip traffic by having dedicated lanes in certain cases. So on major corridors like Central Ave, Betty's Ford, Monroe, Freedom Drive, and South Tryon, not only are they going to get dedicated bus lanes in certain instances, but they'll also get signal priority at traffic lights so we can keep things moving faster and reward people for taking public transportation. If the plan is implemented, an additional 450,000 people would be living within half a mile of buses that come every 15 minutes. Right now, only about 17% of jobs in Mecklenburg County are accessible by bus that comes every 15 minutes. And this plan would increase that number to 61%. On top of all that, the plan would add 2,000 new bus shelters, waiting pads, things like that, and mobility hubs, which are basically transfer stations to help people make sure they're getting where they need to go. So if the transit tax passes, buses will go from being something that people kind of rarely use to a real option for people to get around the entirety of Mecklenburg County. That said, a lot of people aren't happy with what they'd be getting on the bus side because they prefer rail. We were going to see heavier investments in rail, but the legislature set a cap on how much we could spend in that way so that we could prioritize road spending. In the next video, I'll tell you a little bit more about that. In the meantime, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I'll see you next time on Charlotte Costs.